Good afternoon, everybody. I was wrong. We don't get to decide when people join. They just get to join whatever they want. Apparently, I didn't activate that setting for this one. All right, we're going to give it a couple minutes for some other folks to join. It's only 12:59 showing on my clock here, so we'll give it some time. But I'll introduce them again once everybody has a chance to get here. But I'm down here in sunny Florida with Tom Clancy, who is the Regional Vice President for Research Underwriters here in Florida. Many of you, I know a lot of our customers will be here, as well as some folks that don't quite work with RouteGenie yet. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jonathon Anthon. I'm a Co-CEO of RouteGenie. So we're going to go through some really good tips for you guys today. Tom has been in the insurance industry quite a while. I'll let him go into more detail, but has some great tips for you regarding insurance and how to start saving money on your insurance rates. I know that's one thing. I've been fortunate to talk to a lot of different NEMT operators over the years. I've been working in NEMT technology for quite a while. And one thing that always comes up as a challenge is insurance rates. So that's something that I know a lot of folks want to hear about. So we wanted to put this together and give everybody an opportunity to get some good tips from the experts to make sure they're getting the best rates on their insurance. So looks like we got 19 folks here. So we're getting there. We'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and start diving into any content. While we're waiting, just a couple of notes for folks. If you have questions, we will do some Q&A at the end. So just go ahead and you can put them in the chat. I've got, going to be hard for us to kind of see across the room to the screen to see them. So I'll probably kind of pivot over off camera or even turn off the camera so we can go through some Q&A. But we do ask for questions. Try to keep those questions to high-level topics about insurance or about insurance brokers and what they do, and not so much like, hey, I've got 7 vehicles in Omaha, Nebraska, and I want to get my rates down. What should I do? Don't want to get to specific use cases. We want to keep it really high level. A lot of those things we can cover in a free consultation with Tom if you decide to sign up for one at the end, which we'll cover at the end as well. So. I'm showing 101 on my side, so why don't we go ahead and dive in? We're going to have this available on video later as well. So, Tom, we've got four tips for folks here. You want to introduce yourself, say hi to everybody?
Great.
We'll go ahead and dive in.
Well, hello, and thank you to Jonathon and his team for allowing us the opportunity to chat with you guys. As he mentioned, I work for Research Underwriters. I'm a regional vice president. I work out of the sunny South Florida office. Our main office is up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we have offices all around the country, so we can service pretty much every state that is out there. We're family-owned, privately owned. We've been around for 65 years. We just celebrated that anniversary last month. So we don't answer to boards. We don't answer to hedge funds. And being around for 65 years, we've obviously built some pretty strong relationships with carriers within the industry, and we know the markets pretty well. So we love to be able to pass that on to our clients and prospects.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. So let's dive in. So we've got 4 kind of tips that I got some notes here to make sure that I don't forget anything. Tom's the expert here. I know a little bit, but I'm not, don't really know much. So our first tip, creating a culture of safety. So, we talked about this. We talked about, good training, making good hires. Why is a focus on safety so important when it comes to insurance? I think it's a little bit obvious, but if you could dive a little bit more into that for us.
Sure, be happy to. Safety is extremely important. That should be one of the first things you think of. And it really comes down to training your drivers. And you don't want to just hire out of desperation to get drivers on board, because they could just ruin the business down the road. So be very careful in your selection. Make sure you vet all the drivers. You get their MVRs. You see what their history is, and do the proper vetting. You want to make sure that they're all trained. You want to make sure that they have experience. And if they don't have experience, you need to have them go out with experienced drivers on a probationary period just to learn the ropes. We also want to make sure that, you have driver safety meetings, you have the right certifications for your drivers. You just don't want to send a taxi driver out driving an NEMT vehicle. It could cause you a lot of headaches down the road. You want to make sure that you have manuals for their onboarding process. You want to make sure they understand those manuals, have quarterly safety meetings. And again, I know I'm kind of getting into the larger, when you start hiring more and more drivers, I know that there might be some onesies and twosies out there, but don't be assured, regardless of how big or small your operation is, you need to have a serious focus on the safety aspect, because that, one, is going to make your business run smoother. Two, it's going to give you better opportunity for insurance coverages, and claims and lawsuits will not happen when you have safety as a priority. Some of the other things we like to point is, to get drivers, give them incentives. You want them to want to be better drivers. And one of the things that we've seen with our clients is they sometimes do team incentives where you pair teams up together, and this allows them to kind of feed off each other and not wanting to disappoint their partner in their incentives program. You give them some type of Amazon gift card or something at the end of the month for the best performing driver. So that's a small investment for a big return, $50 gift card. And you want to have accident kits in the car so they know how to handle accidents when they do happen, so they can, you can be on top of it, the details, not trying to have them debrief you 2 days later where things might have been missed or forgotten. And I just want to point out that the NEMT is a wonderful conference that is actually starting this weekend up in Jacksonville. If you haven't thought about it, you should think about it. It might not be too late to go to this one in Jacksonville if you're close by proximity-wise. NEMT offers a lot of not only networking with your fellow NEMT operators, but also educational opportunities. You can talk to other people and see what they do, best practices. You can get educated in how to implement safety and guidelines for your driver and your client pickup. As well as people like we've been there from day one. We're a big supporter of it. We love to be able to interact with them face to face, with people who are just starting off, or even with people who've been in the business for a long time. Everybody learns something. So that's just one tool that you can add to your repertoire, is to attend the conferences or the meetings or organizations in your industry. It has a high value.
Awesome. I love what you mentioned about the team incentive for drivers. So, like you said, you don't really want to let it down. We got 20 drivers out there. How many of them are really going to care about getting a $50 gift card? Yeah. But maybe 10 of them do. But as long as one of those 10 isn't on each team, you're going to have, Tom doesn't want to let John down because he knows John really wants that gift card. So it kind of motivates everybody to work as a team and kind of creates that culture of safety, like we talked about, right? Where it's everybody is thinking about safety, not just maybe a select few good drivers, so to speak.
So that's just one aspect. There's others, but yeah, it is a great one. There's been a lot of positive results from the team driving. And I'm not saying $50. Maybe make it 100 or whatever, but it's definitely a very good tool for driver incentives to perform.
Awesome, and that actually kind of ties into our second tip, because obviously, if you're going to have some sort of driver safety competition, we got to have a way to score it. So leveraging technology is another great way to improve insurance rates just through better safety. So there's a lot of tools out there that I know can impact how you manage your drivers. So there's the devices that plug into vehicles, and usually there's like a driver score attached to those. So that can help. ZenDrive, that's actually one of our partners with RouteGenie. It's actually built into the RouteGenie app if you subscribe to it, where it can do some of the same things and actually track if the driver can touch the device. And I know camera technology has taken a big leap forward.
Huge.
If you talk about that a little bit, because I know like back in the day it was like, oh, get these cameras and get a discount, but it wasn't really the price of the camera was built into the insurance policy. So it's not so much that, but I think I've talked to a lot of folks that have prevented some big claims because they have cameras in the vehicle.
Correct. I cannot stress enough to everybody out there how important it is to have cameras in your vehicles. Not only do these give you teachable moments when your drivers are doing something wrong or they're in an accident, But these can make false claims, bad claims, not at fault claims go away quickly. They can also work the other way. If you have a camera installed and maybe your driver was at fault, you can jump on this in a much quicker mode and end it or settle the claim before it can get out of hand and continue on. So it works both ways, but I cannot stress the importance of having a camera at the very least for technology in your vehicles. There's so many different cameras out there now. They've come a long way. They some have components where they have driver distraction, they have accident avoidance features. There's so many different options, and you can never, I think, have too many options involved for driver safeties. Telematics are extremely important. You want to know if your drivers are hard braking, taking harsh turns, stop go. They get scorecards. Accident avoidance, they can follow the eyes of the driver, see if they're distracted. If they're looking at their cell phone and all of a sudden they look up, you can follow that. And these avoid accidents from happening, which is obviously what you want. The other thing when you get into the technology is you have all those cameras, you have accident avoidance, you have telematics, but and this is not just a plug, that the RouteGenie is a great product for you because it allows you to make sure that your operation is streamlined, it's efficient use of all your resources being not only your staff, your man hours, but you're also talking fuel efficiency, you're talking vehicle efficiency, and time efficiency. So, I mean, their product is a great product, and that's one of the reasons why we were excited to be a part of this conversation today, because we're not here to promote ourselves. We're here to just tell you guys how to become better operators in the non-emergency medical transportation world.
Awesome. Well, appreciate the kind words about us. And I think it's one thing that does get overlooked, right? Like fewer miles driven, fewer hours on the road means fewer incidents, right? So
you can accomplish much more if you have a streamlined route versus driving from A to B, going back and then going back and forth and then going over here. And it's man hours, you do more trips in a day, and fuel. We all know that fuel costs are crazy right now.
Absolutely. All right. So our third tip, let's jump into this. Thinking ahead. This is one that until I kind of, learned a little bit and then talked to some folks in the insurance world that I didn't really know about or think about. So I bet a lot of our audience hasn't thought about this either. But for me, like if I want to shop my personal auto insurance, like I look like a week before it ends and I go get some quotes and I decide if it's time to
You're not alone.
carriers. And I think for that might work for me, but not so much for commercial auto because there's just so much more involved in it. So talk a little about that. Kind of when is it time to start thinking about my renewal?
Well, it starts a lot earlier than you would think. One thing that we like to do with our clients is to go through the loss runs. Loss runs is your claims history, and I know this may not be applicable to new ventures, but anybody who's been out there that's been in business for at least a year, you need to plan way ahead for your renewal. One, you need to have financial awareness. You need to know what your budgeting is for insurance. It's probably one of your bigger overheads. As you grow, your insurance is probably going to grow as well because you're adding additional vehicles and drivers. So financial awareness is important. Preparing for your renewals consists of looking at your loss runs well in advance. Not that you all need to know this, but the underwriters out there, they look at loss runs. When they see an open claim from 6 months ago, 9 months ago, they put a reserve on that claim. And it could be as high as 100,000, it could be higher, but they have to put that maximum that they think could be a potential payout. And they utilize that number when they're doing your renewal. So what we like to do with our clients is we like to go through the loss runs well in advance. We actually try to do it quarterly with them, so there's no surprises when renewals come. And when you get to the submitting the loss runs to the underwriter, you want to make sure all those open claims are closed, and usually they're closed at a much lower value. So you could have 4 claims that are closed at $1,000. And if you didn't close those, they could have stayed open with a $50,000 reserve on them. So the underwriters have to take that into consideration. So prepare throughout the year. Please don't wait till the last minute. It becomes stressful for you and for us, and we'll do it, but we prefer not to be stressed. Review your MVRs quarterly. Make sure that you're on top of your drivers. Don't wait till the last minute and submit the MVRs or look at the MVRs and say, wow, wait, this guy had a speeding ticket. He's going to bump up my premium. Make sure you have quarterly reviews of your drivers' MVRs. Just financial awareness and be prepared. You don't want to wait till the last minute. And if you don't hear from your agent until the week before your renewal, then you need to get a better agent. I mean, you should be in constant communication or vice versa with client and agent, just so you're working and being prepared so there's no last minute surprises.
Awesome. And then I know, for us, obviously, it's bringing someone on, switching them from another software program. It's a lot more work than renewing them, right? So we like to, want to keep customers longer term. But we do a lot of working with our customers in between when they come on board and when their contract renews, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a little bit of, quarterly meetings and goal setting and things like that. And you guys do a lot of similar things, right? So once someone comes on board with Research Underwriters, you mentioned the quarterly loss runs reviews. So you're kind of staying in touch with them and setting goals for the entire year. So it's, we're signing our insurance this year, but now we're going to start looking at, okay, based on this result, these are the things we need to improve for next year, right? To get that number down as we move forward.
Correct. I mean, you want to use your agent as an advisory. We're not a one and done. We love communication. What we do is we assign each and every account an account executive. So that account executive is constant contact. It's not like the agent disappears, but we want you to have your account serviced the way you need it. And by having an account executive, there's constant communications with changes, servicing. Obviously, the agent's involved, and if there's anything of a higher level that you need, we're up to speed. So we're a big fan of communication with our clients throughout the term. We build relationships, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but we are about relationships. We've had clients for 30, 40, 50 years that have stayed with us in the business. We've had other clients who we'd advise for 2 years until they actually, a prospect we'd advise them for 2 years and then they become a client. So we're about building relationships, long-term relationships. We've been around 65 years, so it's not like we're going anywhere. So that's a big thing that we focus on. Just to get into us a little bit more, us being research underwriters, is we know the markets. We've been around for 65 years. I keep drilling that home because not a lot of companies can say that who are privately owned. We know the markets. We know what coverages you need, what coverages you don't need. We have offices around the country, so we're familiar with the state-to-state differences in what you need and what the requirements are for compliance. They're not all the same. They all differ. You also need to know what brokers are requiring. There's multiple brokers out there that require different limits. We know that. We work with them. We work with you. We make sure that you're fully covered. We will never overinsure you, but we definitely do not want to underinsure you. God forbid something happens. We want you to have, peace of mind that your operation will get back on track quickly. And getting back to what, we know the markets, and that's really what you want. You want an experienced broker who knows where to go and who to go to. We have access to markets that not all the other agencies have because we've been around for so long, and we create relationships with them. So we're experienced. We know the markets. We know what you need, and we're just here to help. That's our goal.
And that actually kind of ties in. This was really going to be 3 tips after I originally talked to Tom, but I decided to add a 4th. So I'm going to talk about this one a little bit. And this is something, if you're in the NEMT Facebook groups, you see people posting about insurance. If you see me replying, I do this all the time. Number one, this is, I think, the number 1 tip for me is finding the right broker. And obviously we strongly recommend Research Underwriters, but even if you find someone else that you think is a better fit for you, I don't think you would, but you might. But I mean, the big thing with brokers is, we know brokers because we think of the trip brokers, and it's a little different, right? This is folks that are working on behalf of you with the insurance companies. So this is a consultant that works for you for free. you don't have to pay them, but you're getting all of their expertise because they're getting paid by the insurance company. And like Tom mentioned, they know the markets, they know the carriers. I mean, we know Flo, and we know the Geico Gecko, and we know Jake from State Farm, and the Mayhem guy from Allstate. Shout out to Allstate, by the way. I got rear-ended yesterday on the way into the office, go figure. And the claims process on the app, 10 out of 10. But we know those guys, but those folks aren't big players in commercial auto, if at all. I actually responded, maybe some of you have been joining. I posted a link to sign up for this webinar on a post in a group last night. It was someone that Progressive is leaving their market, and they were like, what do I do? And if you're with a good broker, you knew months ago that Progressive was leaving your market, and they were already lining up options for you. And they're going to try to get your cost under control as much as possible. But when your carrier is leaving a market, generally it's because they were undercharging and they got themselves in trouble and they weren't making money. So when having the right broker in place, these are things that you're kind of ahead of. And like I said, we love working with Research Underwriters because they are privately owned. We talk directly with the ownership all the time. We're good friends. And, so they're not being swayed by a board of directors or stockholders or a VC firm or any of that stuff. They're doing what is best for their clients to make sure that they retain long-term clients, because if you stay a client with them, they keep getting paid by that insurance company, right? So they take care of you, they get taken care of. They don't take care of you, you go elsewhere, you're no longer a client. So I think that's the best advice I think we could give anybody is find the right broker for you. If you would like to talk to Tom and learn more about Research Underwriters, we actually have through our website a place you can sign up for a free consultation. We'll send it to everybody via email as well, but you can go to routegenie.com/RU for Research Underwriters. So again, that's routegenie.com/RU. You can put your information in there, and that'll go right over to Tom and team, and they'll reach out to you and set up a consultation. For those of you that are going to NEMT, we'll both be there. This wasn't on purpose, but our booths are actually right across from each other. So we'll both be there, ready to help you out either with RouteGenie or with your insurance with Research Underwriters. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my laptop and kill the video here and just kind of open it up for Q&A. So it looks like we do have 3 questions in there already. Let's see what we got going on. And again, for Q&A, for those of you that might have missed us at the beginning, let's please try to keep it just to high-level questions. Again, we don't want anything like, hey, what's how can you help me with my 3 vehicles in Kentucky? We want to keep it high level.
And we're happy to help you in Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky or Arkansas.
We'll talk offline, and then we write in every single state, so we're familiar with all the states and happy to help in any way.
All right, I'm going to go through the chat, and I see a couple folks have their hand raised, where I'll allow them to actually chime in and chat as well. So questions in the chat. What company are you from? We covered that, Research Underwriters, and again, routegenie.com/RU for a consultation. So the question is, can you recommend any insurance company? And you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the answer to that is yes, they can recommend somebody, but it depends on your location and circumstances. So head out to routegenie.com/RU and they can get you some more detailed questions.
Yeah, again, each state is different. They all have different requirements to be in compliance. So depending on your state, we would focus on what you need to do for that specific state. So unfortunately, it's not blanket coverage across the board. So happy to have a conversation and discuss your specific state and how we can help you.
All right, we have Ali. What's the name of the NEMT Facebook group? There's actually quite a few. If you just search NEMT and Facebook, and then like after you search on Facebook, it lets you choose if you want posts or groups, etc. That you can choose groups, and you'll see a bunch of NEMT groups. If you want to, I can shoot you specific invites. If you want to send me an email, my email is Jon, Jon, @routegenie.com. If you want to shoot me an email as well and just say, hey, what are the Facebook groups? I can shoot you some links. Again, we're going to NEMT. I'm actually on a plane in a couple of days here, or tomorrow, to head up to NEMT. So if it takes me a little bit to get back to you, please be patient, and I apologize for the wait, but I can definitely get you some information that way. All right, I'm just going to mark these answered so I don't double take anybody. A good way to find brokers. That's a good question. First answer would be routegenie.com/you. But I mean, the conferences are a good place to find the best vendors, right? You can talk to them face to face, see what they're all about. That's a good indicator that they're serious about the business, right? It's not super expensive to be an exhibitor at these things. So, and this is the premier NEMT conference, right? So if you're really invested in the NEMT industry, you're at this conference unless you have, some sort of personal personal engagement that interferes. But even then, and this is actually something that we didn't really talk about, Tom, but when you're looking for the right broker, there are some out there that are kind of a one or two man show, right?
Yeah, I wanted to, I'm glad you brought that up. So there's two things. One is, yeah, you don't want a one man show because, if that gentleman or that lady is no longer not available, you need to have other staff and resources to help you when you need immediate assistance. So the small one man shows are really not going to benefit your operation. The other thing I wanted to point out, when you mentioned Facebook, and I'm on a bunch of the related Facebook groups, and I see a lot of this all the time on these chats where, oh, hey, give me a call. I'm in North Dakota and I'm an agent, this, that. You want to make sure that you are working with an agent, either be research underwriters or whoever else, that they're experienced in the industry. They have the knowledge, they're specialized. At Research Underwriters, all we do is transportation. So we don't venture out and do anything else. We stick with what we know best. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with somebody who has experience and knowledge in your industry and won't sell you that progressive policy when it's going to be canceled in a month.
And good story. Tom and I actually were playing golf at the NEMT golf tournament on Saturday. We're playing together, and I was playing with one of the other folks from Research Underwriters at a conference a couple of years ago, and he got a call from a client that had an urgent situation, and he's out on the golf course. If he was a one man show, what can he really do, right? Versus, I mean, so he picked up the phone. He called back to the account. I think account executives are your folks that manage the accounts. Called back to the account executive, explained the situation. That person took over. His situation was resolved. So he took care of it in minutes from the golf course because he had other folks and other resources able to help. And so if someone, if you call Tom on Saturday, make sure to tell him to say hi to me, and he'll reach out to one of his team members to help you out. Instead of having to hope that he remembers to take care of that thing that was really important to you after he's done playing golf, and who knows what happens from there.
And it could be something as simple as just needing a certificate to get out ASAP. We have people who are dedicated to your account. We have people who just strictly work on certificates and the day-to-day operations. So that's, again, we've been around a long time, so we've learned a few things over the years.
All right, question from Judy asking us to call. Judy, if you'd like Research Underwriters to call, I think we got some stuff going on after this, but we'll reach out as soon as we can. Again, routegenie.com/RU. When you fill that out, everybody get notified and someone will reach out as soon as possible. If you're looking for more on RouteGenie, if you go to routegenie.com, there's a Get Demo button right at the top. If you click that, it'll help you sign up for a time to learn more about RouteGenie. You guys have coverage in California and Nevada? Yeah, California.
Yes.
Nevada. You got big clients in California.
Yep.
I mean,
we write in pretty much every state except for Alaska, maybe.
Yeah, we've got large mutual clients in California and Nevada that I know are very, very happy with what they've received from Research Underwriters. So I can vouch personally for those two states for sure. All right, want to know to get clients for NEMT Dispatch Call Center. That one's a little bit outside our expertise here. We're on the software side. There are some really good business development presentations, especially I think there's one at NEMT, but I know there's going to be a really good one at the Transportation Alliance show, which is not next week, but the week following, the week of the 18th. I think it's Wednesday and Thursday. 19th, Tuesday, 19th, 20th, 21st, somewhere in there, right?
Myrtle Beach.
But it's down in Myrtle Beach. The transportationalliance.org is the website. I will be speaking on a different topic at that. I'm always speaking about some technology stuff, but if you're looking for ways to get new business, I would highly recommend checking out that conference if you get a chance. Andrew, I've got Julie. Again, Judy, if you could just go ahead and submit that through either of the websites, we'll make sure we get a hold of you.
Just while we're on the conference, please feel free to stop by if you're able to attend. We will be at the NEMT Conference right next to our friends at RouteGenie. We will be at the Myrtle Beach Conference as well. And just one other thing, it's not directly NEMT related, but I do know that I deal with a lot of my clients who are actually car service, limousine. There is a chauffeur-driven show that's in Orlando in October, and I know that a lot of the transportation companies are kind of bleeding over into the NEMT operations with the ambulatory, not necessarily taking wheelchair or stretcher, but doing ambulatory work. Again, if you attend that, please stop by and say hello to us at the booth, and we'd be happy to talk to you.
Awesome. Brian, will there be a follow-up to this email to this meeting? You betcha. You will get both a recording. We're going to post this on YouTube. So we'll put that up on YouTube and send that out to everybody. We'll also send that link if you decide you want to get a consultation from Tom and team. We'll send that out via email as well. All right. Rose and it's Paul. Please repeat info. Are you brokers? I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Paul. So I'll kind of give you a high level of what an insurance broker is, I guess, from my perspective. And then if you have any more questions, we can certainly touch base afterwards, again, via that link that I mentioned. So a broker works on your behalf with multiple insurance providers. So they're going to take your case, and based on their knowledge of the market, they're going to go to the best insurance providers that can provide service to you, and essentially help you get quotes from multiple providers so you can find the best fit for you and the best deal for you. So they're a free consultant that works on your behalf, works as a go-between between you and the insurance provider. So instead of you trying to find all the providers, get them all the information to get quotes, it's a one-stop shop. Everything goes to them. They handle everything for you. They consult you on what you might be able to do better next time to save some money, and get you the best deal on your insurance. All right, Julius, how can my company sign up with you? If you mean Research Underwriters, which I assume you do, just hit that link for the free consultation when we send it out, or you can go there now. Again, routegenie.com/RU. If you mean RouteGenie, go to routegenie.com and go ahead and set yourself up to check out a demo and see what the software does. And if you like it, the person that runs that demo will give you instructions on how to sign up. We have an anonymous attendee that would like a call from Tom's company. Again, routegenie.com/RU.
Happy to do so.
All right. And Rose, you're very welcome. All right, I have a couple folks with their hands raised that I'm going to allow to ask verbally. So Jason Cora, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you here. You can go ahead and ask your question live. All right, Jason, you should be good to go to talk now.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Tom. It was a very good presentation, very insightful. I appreciate some of the tips that you were given. So I'm with Jason with my MediRides out here in Tampa. So the question I'd like to ask is, I mean, we're fairly new, so the issue that we're having is not one of an extensive claim history or loss runs. So I was wondering, do you have any tips apart from, claim prevention, any tips in terms of how we can lower premiums or entice carriers to lower their premiums a bit when we're shopping for rates?
Experience and clean loss runs. New ventures are the highest of the tier. And then as you prove yourself and being a safe operator, you become more attractive to carriers, and they'll want to write you, and you'll be a better risk for them. So experience and time will actually help. Clean loss runs, obviously, can't stress enough. And what our process is when we talk to you, Jason, and we have initial conversation, we get to know your business, we get to know you. Then when it comes time to the submission, we gather all the information. We don't just hit send to an underwriter. we have the relationships built with all the carriers, and we actually get to know the underwriters themselves. Some we've known for years, and we paint a positive picture of your operation. So we don't just kind of send the paper off and let them determine. We have a conversation. We tell them that, listen, they have cameras, they have telematics, they have, driver safety meetings quarterly. So our job is to paint the most positive picture so they want to insure you. So those are some of the things that we do. That's part of our job and what we offer. And in turn, they're going to rate you at a lower premium. Now, there's no guarantees. Of course, the market is dictated on what the current situation is in the industry and where you're located. I mean, we're both in Florida, so we know Florida is a little more challenging than some other states. So, we have to do a little more due diligence to get the information in the right positive light to the underwriters.
I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. All right, next question. We've actually got Andrew with us from Research Underwriters. I'm a little scared to unmute him. But let Andrew say hello. Hi, Andrew.
Hi. Yeah. Well done, guys. I think what I would add to Tom's answer for lowering premium is for backing yourself. So the insurance carriers are taking essentially all of the risk on you and your operation. But a good way to show them that you believe in yourself, that you have a good approach to safety and risk management at your enterprise, is to take a deductible. So by way of deductible, you would be responsible for the first X amount, and that's where our knowledge and expertise can come in to help guide you through how much risk you should be taking yourself. But when the insurance carrier sees that you are taking risk, they will become more comfortable with you as an operator by way of your intent. But also it gives you a good reset and a good sharpening of your focus on on your approach to risk management and safety with the operation. I always say this, that insurance is an odd product for the insurance carriers. They sell it on day one, and you know what the price is on day one, and then 5 years later, the insurance carrier gets to find what it actually cost them by the time all the claims are turned in and settled and stuff like that. So it's kind of an odd one for the insured, and any way that they can help mitigate risk, they're going to pass benefits through to you. So if you are taking risk in your enterprise, in your fleet, in your claims, then it's going to provide more certainty to the insurance carrier, and it's a good way to see an immediate discount on premium, especially when you've recently just invested in new technology for claim avoidance or incident mitigation. So if you implement your telematics and your camera system, then and take a deductible, then you can see the benefits of that straight away. Whereas for the insurance carrier to reward you for the benefits of the increased approach to safety, it's going to take a few years of looking at your historic losses to be able to come out the other side. So back yourself, take risk in yourself, and we can help figure out how much risk is fair, and help negotiate with the insurance carriers what sort of premium rate relief you should have if you do that.
And Andrew, this actually what you mentioned ties right into another question here we have from Jordan. So Tom, Jordan asks, our company expenses the same issue with being newer, and we hear this a lot. So you guys are not alone. This is all over the place. How long does it take to prove your standards and history with the insurance company to reach the lower tier? So how long is that period before you start to see rates start to go down? I mean, I've heard a lot of different answers to this, so I'm intrigued as what you think.
Well, there's no set formula. There's no algorithm. I mean, they look at your loss runs, and one thing I want to say is, if you're in business for 1 year and you have clean loss runs, no claims, that's great. 2 years is better. 3 years is even better. We suggest to our clients, if you've been in business for 5 years, give us 5 years of loss runs, even though the carrier may only require 3 years. This way, it shows that you've been a safe operator for a longer period of time, and it makes you much more attractive to the underwriter to give you a fair premium. I hate to to not give a set answer because each carrier is different. But the more years you have of operating as a safe business is always a positive. That's why safety is so important.
We have an anonymous question. Any recommendations for a small Colorado startup which builds facilities directly with no insurance involved? Anything specific, I would recommend setting up a consultation so they can go through specific details for your situation, because usually there's a lot of questions back and forth and a lot more involved in that. So,
and we do have an office in Vail, Colorado, so we know that state very well. So happy to help there.
yeah, so RouteGenie.com/RU. All right, I think we have so this is interesting. I have 8 years of no loss claims. My rates keep going up.
Well, yes, and that's great. No claims, 8 years. That's wonderful. You're an attractive risk to most underwriters. Again, I mentioned it earlier. There are certain dynamics that are out of our control, and it is really market and economic driven. In the state of Florida, we'll use as an example. It's somewhat of a litigious state, so there's a lot of suits going on. So that drives the payouts for the carriers, and they're in the business to make money, so they have to increase their rates. And I'm speaking Florida specific, but it's pretty much across the board. It's really indicative of the economic situation for the carriers, not only within the industry, but in general for them to operate business. So yes, it's unfortunate that it keeps going up, and you would think that it would be the reverse for you being in business for 8 years with clean losses. But unfortunately, it's market driven.
Yeah, and so they were in Wisconsin, they said. And that's something too, where I'm not sure if you're working with a broker, but that's where getting a broker involved might make the difference too, right?
Sure, of course. You may not be with the right carrier. There's a lot of carriers out there across the country, and some only write in certain states. Since we're a niche agency and we specialize in transportation, we know those little smaller carriers. So, Jonathon mentioned the big boys, Flo and Jake and all those guys. They're not familiar with this. They're the smaller carriers who know the market, they know the industry, and they write in that industry. So they're not the ones with the big advertising budget, so you never hear of them. We hear of them because we go to all the shows, we're in part of all the groups, and we're part of pilot programs that a lot of these carriers know that we've been in the business for so long. They come to us and they say, listen, we're going to try to start writing in Wisconsin. We want you to be our pilot agency. So they know that we have clients there and prospects, so they allow us to start writing on their paper in that state. That just comes along with being around for a while and having respect of our carriers. So it's state by state.
All right, we've got Edward has his hand up. I'm going to go ahead and open the mic for Edward. Edward, you should be good to go. Go ahead. Looks like you're muted if you are trying to talk to us.
Okay. Sorry. Is it the same question that the other company asked in regards to, I've been around for about 8 years, but, the insurance keep on, going up. Isn't it the same like you guys are doing? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of you telling us what you're going to do for us? But you're not telling us, because when we do it, it goes up. Is yours going to go up, or is going to remain the same, or is going to go down? Just
What is going to
our insurance, the premium, is it going to, because our premium keeps on going up, but when we sign up with you, are we going to have premium going down, or are we still going to have premium going up?
So Edward, I'm not 100% what the question is, but it's the carriers. Your premium is going to be the same regardless if you go through us or you go through somebody else with the carrier. Our job is to advise you on the best way to operate your company and try to get reduced premiums. We can leverage our relationships with the carriers to see, hey, listen, can you find a few more credits for our client and try to reduce your premiums? But we don't dictate the premium, nor do we have true control over the premium. If your rate keeps going up from the carriers, that has nothing to do with us. We don't raise our rates. We're a no service, a no fee agency. So we work for you. That's the most important thing. That if you have anything as a takeaway today, we work for you. We do not work for the carriers. So we don't dictate premiums going up or down. We just advise and help you to manage your risk management at the most cost-effective way.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we have someone asked, in the last couple months, we became a transportation broker for Medicaid managed care. How do we get started with all this? It's a loaded question. It's a very loaded question. So I guess to answer that in full, I need to know if you're a transportation provider that became a broker, or if you're looking to just kind of become a provider and you're outsourcing some trips. There's a lot of details there. RouteGenie does have a broker version of our software where you can distribute trips to subcontractors using RouteGenie, and a lot of the cool tools that come with that. There's a lot going on there. I will say, we are a software company, so we don't necessarily consult on how to run your business from a brokerage standpoint or anything of that nature. And Research Underwriters can coach you in terms of things to do for your insurance, but I would say neither of us are necessarily business consultants. That's another great place where some of the conferences come in, is you do have some really strong NEMT business consultants that are involved there. There is actually, if you happen to be around Florida and can get there this weekend, there's a consultant by the name of Howard Berkowitz that we know well, who's running a boot camp, kind of a pre-conference boot camp. I think it's on Sunday, but some really good tips for those getting started. That I definitely recommend checking that out if you might be able to get a chance to get down to Jacksonville this weekend. Seth asks, is there a provider you recommend for operating with less than 3 vehicles, less than 3 years experience? We went with Progressive at nearly $1,600 a month, no losses, no claims. I can save Tom some time on this one. It's going to depend state to state. Different states are going to have different recommendations there, and some of it does depend on some other portions of how you operate and things that you do as to which one would be best. But that is why you want to go ahead and even if you just renewed and you're 11 months away, get that consultation set up now so you're ready to go when it comes time for your renewal. They'll keep track of when your renewal is. They'll reach out and touch base at the right time. So even if you're not ready to have to make a move right now, they're not going to ask you to. They're going to do it when it's renewal time, but you want to start the conversation now so they can advise you on what you might want to do to make sure that renewal goes as positively for you as possible. So
and Progressive only writes in 4 states for non-emergency, and I think they just pulled out of 1, so we're down to 3. So you can sense the trend with Progressive. Their rates are going up. They're pulling out of states. So this is not a revenue making business for them. So that's why you need to go a little deeper and get into some of the more niche carriers who specialize in transportation, even more so specialize in non-emergency medical.
So it's Howard Berkowitz, Berkowitz, I believe.
Yes.
I don't have contact information handy. But if you go to nemtac.co, nemtac.co, you'll be able to get more information there as well. Julia said, try to get a demo. It keeps sending up to sign for a Zoom meeting. Yes, our demos are via Zoom, Julia. So we do a live demo. You'll actually work with a live salesperson who will take you through how the software works, answer your questions, etc. So that's just going to have, it's having you sign up for that meeting, but for a demo of RouteGenie versus just a conversation about insurance. All right, I think we made it. I think we're out of questions. So oh, nope. Oh, Tennessee and Progressive is at one of those states, so it must be.
Yeah.
All right. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Andrew's got his hand up again, so I will. I'm going to greenlight Andrew to talk to say goodbye to everybody. But we appreciate you all jumping in with us. And talking to us today, asking your questions, and talking a little about insurance. So again, before I let you go, routegenie.com/RU. If you just got a question came in that needed demo information again about RouteGenie, just go to routegenie.com, click the big Get Demo button at the top. You'll put in your information. It'll take you to a calendar where you can pick a time that is convenient for you when we have availability to do a demo. It might be a little limited right now because I mentioned we've got NEMT coming up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We've got TTA the following Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Some of our other team members are actually going to be down in Florida for the National PACE Convention. Down here, actually, it's in Miami that same week. And then we have a couple folks at NADSA for the last week of September. So we go to 4 trade shows every year, and they're all in September this year. So if things are a little limited, we do apologize as our team's all over the place, but we'll certainly squeeze you in somewhere. Again, that's routegenie.com and hit that get demo button. But Andrew, any parting words before we let everybody go? If you are talking, you are muted.
Yes, oh, sorry about that.
There he is.
So yeah, just to go back to one of the questions earlier for the newer operators, I mean, NEMT is one of the growth sectors in the transportation industry that we serve, and we see a lot of new operators coming in. The insurance carriers that will write a new venture are often different to the ones that will write a seasoned venture. And there's a number of insurance carriers out there that will only start taking a look at a risk once they've been in business for 3 years. So as you are starting up and being mindful of the people that you can go to quote your business, once you've had 3 years of operations under your belt, there typically are more insurance carriers available to look at it that will then be pricing more based on your performance history rather than on the speculative story of your intention, as they would be in the first few years. But I think to the point that Tom and Jonathan have been making through this, and I'm going to kind of misquote farmers, but we know a thing or two because we've been around for a long time, and we know what the underwriters want to see. We know how to navigate through their underwriting questions to present your accounts in the most favorable light and to help enhance your approach to safety to get you the best rate with the insurance carrier. But as you grow and as you develop, you should treat insurance as an asset to your business rather than just a price shopped commodity every year. And why I say that is, should something catastrophic happen, you have a catastrophic loss, you need the partnership with your broker and your insurance carrier to get out of it and remain insurable, the other side. So looking at the number in the bottom right hand corner every year and jumping from carrier to carrier with different broker to broker doesn't create an appealing insurable risk for an underwriter who would want to see commitment and partnership with your operation. And that's how and where we excel in being able to help build those and educate and identify the best carriers and the best approach to risk management and safety, so that you can have relatively stress-free insurance renewals year after year. And that was it.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. We appreciate all of your time. Hope to talk to more of you. I know I see a lot of familiar names in the list here, so good to chat with you guys, and hopefully we got you some good information that can help you moving forward. And we hope many of you reach out to Tom and team and get some help, and make sure that you have the best possible insurance experience going forward. Hopefully we'll see many of you at NEMT or TTA as well. But again, one more time, routegenie.com/RU if you'd like help there. But we'll let everybody get back to their day. Thanks again, and we will see and talk to you all very soon.